game with style, off-meta gameplay and builds.
Hey everybody, welcome to Grimsforge Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about Elder Scrolls Online and how it has transitioned to a pay-to-win business model. And this has been something that's been in the works for quite a while, and it has just recently become very clear to me that that's where we're at. So let's jump into this. My background is for 4+ years I've trained PvPers. We've worked with them on a solo basis, we've worked with them in small group, and then we've worked with them in organized groups. And we teach the intangibles of PvP. That's how to, when to block, how to block cast, when to dodge roll, what abilities, what play style. We try and help people figure out what they want to be when they grow up in the PvP world. We help them try and fix their PvP mentality and their mechanics, right? And sometimes that includes limiting the deaths due to the top big three that we talk about. You're out of position, you're outnumbered, or you're out of resources. And as we eliminate those deaths, they find themselves on the battlefield longer, and in turn they can learn more. And after a year or two of that type of training and PvP life versus, just getting killed every time a 1v1 happens and then having to run back to the fight or run back to the objective, and you spending time playing the objectives and PvDoring and doing things that are a waste of time in PvP as far as your personal PvP progression. And that's pretty much what we find. The majority of people that come to me for PvP training are putting themselves in a PvP atmosphere, but they're spending their time not doing the proper things, focusing more on objectives, and not getting better at PvP themselves. So, anyways, we've been focusing on the PvP intangibles. Now, I can work with people in PvP, and as we teach them the intangibles, they will notice a difference in their kill to death ratio. They'll notice the difference in how long they can last in fights, and all of that is great. And I had this growing feeling in Elder Scrolls Online, this feeling, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and it was very frustrating to me what I was experiencing. And so I started breaking things down and looking at it a little differently, right? First, we looked at what ZOS's ZeniMax Online Studios, what their probably top big three objectives are, right? Their intent, their focus. What are these things? And the top three, one of them would be, first and foremost, to sell DLC. If we can sell DLC, then we have revenue coming in, and we can afford salaries and payroll and overhead, and we can afford to make the next new big thing, right? We keep the train moving, right? So selling DLC's important, and a byproduct of selling DLC would be to grow the game. And so currently they are selling DLCs, and they're selling DLCs because they attach, something to it like scribing, which is very powerful, or they attach an armor set that solves a problem and is very powerful, and many will say it is overtuned, and you would not be wrong. And so they're selling DLCs and in turn growing the game. And Lucky Ghost, who used to be a Elder Scrolls Online content creator, has expanded out to Variety Gaming and grown by leaps and bounds, and I'm so happy for him. But Lucky Ghost recently did a video, probably about a month ago, that talked about the top MMOs of 2024, and Elder Scrolls Online had jumped up 2 spots on that. I don't know where he got his numbers from or anything like that, but we'll just take him at his word. He's been doing a great job, and it said that ESO had jumped, from 10 to 8 or something like that. It's now like number 8 on the list, okay, of top MMOs for 2024. And then the last thing. 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 th wants to focus on or is intent on doing is lowering or raising the skill floor or lowering the skill gap. Okay, so let's talk about that real quickly. The first thing about skill gap is what we'll do is we'll give you just the skill gap definition, right? It's the difference between the current skill level of a player and the skills required to achieve a desired outcome. Okay, so what they're wanting to do is make it like PvP a lower barrier of entry. Okay, and so if we looked at like the skill floor definition, the minimum amount of skill required to be considered competent at some game or activity, right? So it's the minimum that you could do to compete. So, and one of the things we're talking about in this video, there is a difference between pay to compete and pay to win. Okay, and we're going to establish that. But right now, a lot of people can compete. Everyone can compete. Even with base game, you can compete. But if you want to win at the advanced, intermediate to advanced, if you want to win, you absolutely do have to pay in this game. We'll get to that. All right. Skill ceiling definition is the highest level of skill a player can reach in a game. All right, so you think of your 130k parse people in PvE, raid leads that understand all the mechanics, and in PvP you think of the ball groups or small groups that are unkillable, or the 1vxers or the whatever, right? You think of the just absolute pinnacle of PvP, whatever that looks like for you and your experiences. Okay, so that's their three focuses, right? We want to sell DLC, we want to grow our game, and we want to lower the skill gap so that way it has a lower barrier of entry. Those are all reasonable asks, right? It's how they do it that steps over lines. Okay. And some people will argue and say this is business or this is real life or whatever, and that's fine because we can choose to take our business elsewhere when there is a lack of integrity. Okay, let's talk about the top three things that the PvP player base, in my opinion, based off of multiple communications with tons and tons of people. I talk to people about PvP all the time, all day, every day. Okay, so the PvP player base, first and foremost, is very worried about performance and server stability. Okay, performance and server stability is easily at the top of our list. When I go to Cyrodiil and I have to hit my ability 20 times and it never works and I die, this is very frustrating because we are in a competitive PvP atmosphere and the game is simply not working. Okay, now to talk about that too, ZOS has said that in their assessment, no proc sets are not adding to the server stress, which in my opinion is not accurate at all. Based on everyone that I've ever talked to that is in game development and coding and knows anything about anything when it comes to making a game and servers, when there are calculations going on, those calculations bog down the reaction time and cause input delays and everything else on the server. So for them to say proc sets are not the cause of the problem in Cyrodiil, I believe that to be a lie, based off of everything I've ever experienced in the game and based off of every encounter and every conversation I've ever had with anyone that is in that space. Okay, and keep in mind these are not people from ZOS, right? Because talking to them is near impossible. Okay, and it stands to reason too. Like we were in no CP, no proc Ravenwatch playing, and all abilities are firing for the month leading up to them adding proc sets to Ravenwatch. And now we're out in Ravenwatch and I can't get abilities to fire and there's input delay and I'm getting hit with things when I'm dodge rolling. And keep in mind I have 50 to 70 ping and fiber internet, right? It's most likely not on my end. And to add to that, when there is legit game freezing for 2 to 3 seconds during combat, abilities not firing, and legit 2 to 3 second game freezing during combat, and other people I'm in a group with are experiencing the same thing, and then we're talking to the people that we're fighting because we know them, and one of them jumps in Discord and he says, yeah man, like straight 2 to 3 seconds of just frozen screen, can't do anything. Okay, server performance is top priority for us. And they keep shoving proc sets and all of these sets that do these calculations down our throats and then try and tell us it's not the sets, because that would affect their cash grab. Okay. Anyway, server performance is at the top of our list. The next thing that's in our list would be balancing, and this could be class balancing, race balancing, sets, and abilities within the classes. So passives, race, abilities. We just want balance. We understand that Nightblade should have the capability to global people or be hit really hard. We understand that sorcerers should be very mobile and they hit very hard. Other classes should have that same capabilities. Balancing in this game is done very, very, very poorly, and always has been. This isn't just my opinion based off of a couple months of playing this game. I've played since I was a beta tester. I've played since the beginning of this game, and they never handle balancing properly. And we're going to get to this. They don't handle balancing of new released armor sets well. They don't handle balancing of new classes very well. They don't handle any of it very well. Their balancing is terrible, and they do the bare minimum of balancing in this game to keep you coming back. Okay? The last thing is they have never, ever addressed heal stacking or cross healing. Heal stacking and cross healing, a lot of PvPers will point to that's why ball groups exist, or that's why these unkillable groups exist in PvP. And I'm not the first person to bring this up. I bring it up in podcasts. I bring it up whenever I talk about PvP as a thing that needs to be done in PvP to make a dramatic impact in the game. There have been people that have been saying this a lot longer than that. 6 years, and vocal in the forums about it. Nothing's ever been done about it. Okay? And we've gotten to the point where I have to ask myself, why? Why is that? Outside of ESO, I'm a business owner and I'm a consultant. I help business owners grow and scale, and I work with a lot of different people. And one of the most dirty, underhanded, lack of integrity tactics that a business owner can do is they allow a problem to exist, or they create a problem with the intent to sell the solution. Let's look at that again. They allow a problem to exist, or they create a problem with the intent to sell the solution. Is that not the perfect definition or explanation of what's happening in ESO? They're allowing cross-healing and heal stacking to exist so they can release the next new nuclear capability set that will be the answer for cross-healing and the ball groups and the everything. And go through and put a mental list together of the armor sets that they've released to combat ball groups, instead of just taking care of cross-healing and taking care of heal stacking, right? Allowing a problem to exist, or creating a problem with the intent of selling a solution. So you can see very quickly, PvP player base, how our three big needs don't align with the three big needs of ZOS. They need to sell DLC, and right now their biggest selling technique on DLC is the overpowered sets and the overpowered abilities, that the overpowered things that are going to come with it. Let's read this here real quick. This is the definition of pay to win. Pay to win, a term used to describe computer games where players can pay for items that give them an advantage over other players who don't spend money. These items can include weapons or abilities. A term used to describe computer games where players can pay for items that give them an advantage over other players who don't spend money. These items can include weapons or abilities. And weapons could easily be armor sets, right? Armor sets. Tell me that that's not ESO right now. Malcolm, one of the best, most accomplished PvPers in ESO, just released a video maybe a month ago going through the top 40 PvP sets, right? If you want to know the best sets to look at for PvP, here's this video, right? Go through and figure out how many of those armor sets are base game armor sets. They're available to players day one, versus how many of them are paywalled behind DLC. Okay? To further add to that, how many monster sets? Like, I don't know if his list includes monster sets, it includes mythics, it includes scribing, right? Paywalled, paywalled, paywalled. There are monster sets that are base game now. I don't think any mythics are base game. You know? Mythics aren't base game. But if you pay the ESO monthly subscription, right? ESO Plus, you can gain access to those things, right? Paywalled. That's quite literally the definition of paywalled. Pay to win. Let's take the best 4 PvPers, whoever they are, in the game, and we put them in base game armor sets. Shacklebreaker, we'll say, and Hundings. Whatever. Shacklebreaker and Julianos. I don't even know if those are base game. Those might even be paywalled. But just take those stat-based builds, Shacklebreaker and Hundings, and mirror image that team. I want the exact same 4 players on the other side of the team, other side, versus them, and you give them no restrictions. They can wear whatever they want. They're wearing Rally Cry, they're wearing Powerful Assault, they're wearing Clever Alchemist, they're wearing everything. Rushing Agony, you name it. They can wear it all. They can use the scribing skills, they can use 2-piece Belores, they can use whatever, Saint Seducer, whatever they want, mythic-wise, whatever. If you ask those players, if you ask the players on the left side, right, the ones that are in the stat-based build, and you say, here's what you're facing, can you win? Their ego's going to tell them we're going to give it our best shot. But in their heart and in their mind, and the reality of it is they know that they're at extreme disadvantage. They know for a fact they're at extreme disadvantage. But they're going to give it a go, right, because they're a gamer. And the intangibles make them have a shot, right? The elite level, the pinnacle of intangibles give them a shot in their mind. If you were to ask the people on the right-hand side how they feel about the fight, they're loving it. You know what? All 4 of them are running scribing abilities that give each other shields. These guys, these clowns over on the other side in the stat-based, base game PvP layout, they're not even going to touch our health. They're not even going to touch our health. We legit ran into a group like that in Cyrodiil. Every one of them running scribing skills and just throwing shields out to one another. We didn't even scratch their health. Oh my gosh. ZOS's top 3 things that they're trying to achieve is completely opposite of the top 3 concerns of PvP players. And something else that I look at is the intent to balance the game there. It's just poorly executed, right? Or are they blocking off incoming information? And so I started looking at this. The ESO forums is notorious for, like, even on their streams, Zoss will tell you that they don't go to the ESO forums, right? Because it's just a toxic pool of negativity and this, that, and the other, right? That's that. They just won't go to the forums looking for feedback, right? And there are a lot of really smart people that try and handle their communication properly to try and make an impact to deaf ears. It's just information thrown out to the void and nothing ever comes of it, right? So the forums are ineffective. I've also been told by an employee over the phone that no one ever reads the in-game reports. When you're reporting players or you're reporting exploits, no one ever reads those. I've been told by an employee this over the phone, right? So you don't have that level of information. You don't have that level of communication with them either. Okay? So you can't use the forums. You're in-game, it looks like, oh, we added this feature so we can have open lines of communication. No, they don't care. Okay? They just don't care. And there's a thing called plausible deniability. And I don't know if that's what their intent is, but when you don't take information from the forums or do anything with it because it's against your agenda, you don't take information that is reported directly from players because it's against your agenda, and you get rid of the class rep system, which Nephis is one of the most intelligent guys in ESO when it comes to mechanics and composition and classes and abilities. This guy knows the ins and outs of everything. When he is talking about pain points and nothing is done with it, right? I can guarantee, Nephis and I never had this conversation, but I just know he's the type of guy that wants to see the best for the game, and he'll have a list of things that need adjusting, right? And just like him, the other class reps, no doubt, have a list of things that need to be adjusted to get the game to a better place for the player base, right? Especially the intermediate to advanced player base, the people that have been here the longest and paid the most. But the class rep system was deemed ineffective or underutilized, right? And it probably, in my opinion, wasn't for the lack of trying by the class reps. It was because of plausible deniability. If we limit all of our contact with these recommendations of things we need to change and we just do what we want to do anyways, right? So, that's pretty discouraging. You can see that they don't take feedback, and every single communication that I've ever had with anyone that has had direct communication with them that we've discussed this has said the same thing. They don't take feedback well at all. At all. As a matter of fact, they just want a pat on the back. If they're asking you about something, they just want you to nod and say, yes, man, that's great, and then make a video for it to turn around and help them sell it. Another thing too is, let's look at some of the biggest content creators that have either started with ESO or gone on. Lucky Ghost, we've already mentioned him. Super happy for Lucky Ghost. I wish that we could have got him on a podcast back in the day, but looking at his numbers on YouTube since he's gone to Variety Gaming, and he's just really, really good at his job. Definitely check him out. A major PvPer that had left the scene a long time ago, and he's come back a couple times as paid sponsorships, is Cypher PK. And Cypher left and went to For Honor, I believe, and was doing really well in For Honor. And then there was some pay-to-win issues in For Honor, and then he went to Fortnite. And he's absolutely killed it since he's gone to Fortnite. He's got multiple million subscriber YouTube channels now. CypherPK was one of the best PvPers in ESO, and a lot of people don't know this, like especially new gamers, before he went to Fortnite. And so you got CypherPK, no longer here. Lucky Ghost, no longer here. Fangrush was recently paid to come back and do a Gold Road review, and my respect for Fangrush just jumped exponentially when he did a patch note review, and he was just honest, brutally honest, and that's what Fangrush is known for, is brutal honesty, right? And he just let them have it. Like, what are we doing here? This is a freaking joke. Monkeys could do a better job. You know, those are some of the quotes from him. Fangrush is no longer here. Moved on. Deltius Gaming. The beloved Deltius Gaming, one of the longest standing content creators, hasn't been here. He was paid to come back and do a Gold Road sponsorship, video about how great Gold Road is, or a review on it. Delty has moved on to Variety Gaming, right? Got to get away from ESO. Dots Gaming. Dots Gaming is another one. Dots has over 100,000 subscribers. Very good PvPer. Puts together really good builds. Fun guy to watch. Very entertaining. No longer plays ESO. So I look at it and I'm like, you have this intermediate to advanced player base for PvP. Representatives, like ambassadors to PvP, right? And they all abandon ship. They look to go somewhere else. Why is that? And most of those people have had direct contact with Zos. If they've had direct contact with Zos and they don't see a need to stay here because they're not respected, they're not valued, they're not listened to, why even stay? You are nothing more than a cash grab to them. Nothing more than a cash grab to them. This is a pay-to-win game. Change my mind. We're going to finish with one last thing here, and this is maybe just a little icing on the cake. There's a content creator that is a streamer for ESO. He's a part of the ESO stream team, and he has a short out where somebody had asked him if ESO was pay to win, and he just started laughing. And I'm just going to paraphrase. I don't know exactly what he had said. I haven't watched it in a while, but it stuck with me in that this is the topic we're talking about. But he said, if you believe that ESO is pay to win, you are like 120,000% an idiot. 120,000% an idiot if you think ESO is pay to win. I guess I'm 120,000% an idiot then, because ESO is pay to win. It absolutely is. This is nothing more than a cash grab, and they're going to do the bare minimum to make balances in this game. They're going to allow problems to stay in the game so they can sell you the solution for it. That's all this is. Have a good day. Bye.